Jeff, you're just everywhere. You're here at the special screening of Restored Me. What inspired you to come out?
Well, I'm here to support the San Francisco Black Film Festival. It's amazing that all the films, 60 films in this lineup, and I hope a lot of people come out and see them. But particularly this film talks about the difficulties that young people go through in and out of the system. We have to remember that even here in San Francisco, 56% of the people going in and out of the criminal justice system are African American, yet our population has dwindled down to about 5%. And so these kinds of movies are so important because it reflects the new reality of mass incarceration, of the obstacles that the system constantly puts in people's way. And these are the human stories that need to connect with mass audiences. So we need to get the word out that films like Restored Me have to be in the living room, have to be on Comcast and HBO, and we have to come out and support them here at the theater. I mean, it's fine to go out and see Tyler Perry, but you also need to see the kind of cinema that's going to touch and move you in a very different way.
Wow, that's awesome. You know, you've got a film in the festival, America Needs a Racial Facial. So how do you think that film ties in with the theme of tonight in terms of recidivism and that sort of thing?
Well, I am a public defender in the daytime and I'm a filmmaker at night. And this is my third film. It's a short film called America Needs a Racial Facial about racism in the United States. And the thing about it is, Jackie, it's only 8 minutes long because we wanted to have a film that would spark discussion that you can put into the schools. We took over 400 images and put it in this film. And so I guarantee you it'll blow you away. And it really does relate to a lot of the themes of the films in this character. People of color come from a history of struggle, from oppression, and so our films reflect that. And the thing about it now is that it's great when you see in the African American community there's a very broad range of films that are out there. You know, for the Asian community, you don't see that as much. And so there are a lot of other folks who are still striving to be represented. And so the Black Film Festival does that. This film does that, and I want to be part of that change too. This is about making social change on the biggest screen possible, and that's in our society.
Well, with that being said, I don't need to add anything else.
I want to thank Jackie and the Black Film Festival for making the screening possible. First of all, there are 60 films in this festival, so you should definitely come out and see. And these kind of festivals, I think, are so important in terms of bridging information gaps that we all have, you know, based on the fact that we know so little about each other, which is really one of the sources of both explicit and implicit bias. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the term unconscious bias. How many of you ever have heard that term? It's actually become part of the nomenclature probably in the past 3 to 5 years. There's very little that was known about it, and it's primarily studies in the area of neuroscience that have revealed that we all have both conscious and unconscious biases. You might have a conscious bias for a particular type of food or ice cream, and that's a conscious bias. That's something that you are aware of and something that dictates your decisions and that you might even express. I like strawberry ice cream. And then you have unconscious biases, which are those biases which we're not necessarily aware of, and that we may not even be aware that our decisions are dictated by leanings that we have that we're not even aware of, consciously aware of. And there's been a tremendous amount of testing done in this area. Harvard created a test called the implicit association test, and you can find it online, and you can take it on your computer. And it flashes images of white faces and black faces and words and associations, and you're asked to choose good or bad. And that test has shown overwhelmingly that people, even people of the same ethnicity, will have biases. And if you think about it this way, if you were walking, to your car late at night and you saw a particular type of person come towards you, and so you would grab your purse, because you're afraid, or
if you're holding something, you might hold that tighter. That's an example of a implicit bias. And it's those kinds of reactions that have actually been tied to a part of the brain called the amygdala. It's the fight or flight part of your brain, and it reacts, and it's going to send out a danger signal. It's going to send out fear, anxiety, all those things, emotional states are controlled by that part of the brain. And so what the implicit association test does, it actually tests your reaction to that. And if you're talking about making decisions like whether, if you're a police officer deciding whether to pull a trigger of a gun, or you're deciding whether or not to let somebody out of jail, or what kind of sentence to give someone, all of those things are going to be affected by implicit biases.